in the last video we implemented data binding, and we merged those, we committed those changes into our branch, the implement data binding branch, and now I think we are ready to merge those changes into our develop branch. So go into your repository, go into the fish tracker repository, we'll do a new pull request, and we're going choose the base, wrong way around. Choose develop as the base branch, and for the head branch choose implement data binding. And you will see here's the diff between the two. Let's see. So it looks like, let's go over our changes. So you see here we implemented data binding. Here's some imports. We commented out that set content view. We're bringing the data binding util. We're setting our presenter and the binding. Our main contract, we've changed these methods to take a view as an argument. That's for the on-click listener in the layout file. And same thing here. Presenter methods. Let's see. Oh no, this is in the presenter. Yeah, here are the changes from changing those signatures. This is removing activity main XML because we renamed it, and adding main activity XML. What I refactored the name to, here's that same file. And you can see all of the XML changes, and that's it. So everything looks good. Let's create this pull request. This branch has no conflicts with the base branch. Go ahead and merge. Implement data binding, confirm merge. Pull request successfully merged. Go ahead and delete the branch now that we're done. So let's go back to our project and switch to the develop branch. And let's get the latest from our remote repository. So we'll pull. Let's refresh, make sure it has all the correct branches, and check the develop branch. Pull, and you'll see all the changes. These are from implementing data binding. Alright, so now in this video we're going to talk about styling, and more of an advanced kind of way of doing styling. So for any web developers or people with experience in HTML and CSS, one thing you know is that it's a bad practice to put all of your styling in line, all your CSS in line with your HTML. So you put it in a separate file, your CSS file, and that's how you style elements on your UI. So same logic applies here in Android development. You generally don't want to have all of these styles in line with your XML layout file. It makes it harder to read, it makes code reviews harder to do. No one wants to read through all of this and look at each one, verify that you're setting the correct values, following a consistent pattern. So the way to deal with that is by using styles. So here is our styles resource. It's in your res directory and the values styles. So you can see here we are setting our app theme. This is the theme for our app. Its parent is dark action bar, and color primary is this blue. Primary darker, a little darker blue. Color accent is this pink. So we can change those to whatever we want to get an idea of what it looks like on the emulator. That's this dark and dark and dark. I've changed this gray background, so we're going to change it to make it look closer to this. But this color primary will determines the color of your toolbar right here. And our theme has dark action bar. That's the parent. So that's how these get their colors. The dark primary color, the regular primary color, and the accent shows up accenting, and that's a separate topic, but yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to styling. Let's clean up this style layout file with some styling. So we have two buttons. Generally speaking, we have a look and feel for our app that should be consistent across all three platforms, iOS, Android, and web. And we're definitely going to want to have the same styling within our own app. So wherever we have we want to have our style of button and have that button everywhere. We don't want to, in one area a button with sharp corners and this, in a blue color, and another area where there's a button with rounded corners and pink background. So we want to have consistent UI elements, and to do that, we're going to use the style resource file. So let's start by styling these two buttons. So in our app, we're probably going to have more buttons, and we'll probably have buttons that are big and buttons that are small, but we're going to want them to look and feel the same. So the way we'll do that is we will create a style. So go in here and we'll create a style, and we'll call this button style. Right? We'll just call it button. I think we can just call it, no we can't. Maybe. Yeah, we'll just call it button. Right? And we'll set its item. So let's see. This should, by default, our button will, let's see, if we're making, what do we have this one as? So the best way to do this is to split screen vertically, and there we go. Alright, switch that to text. Alright, so here's our activity. Here's our layout file, and now we need to go to our styles. Okay, so here's our style, and here's our activity. Our layout file on the right, our style file on the left. And this is the style for button. So let's go ahead and set that style. Style button. Alright, and button should have, let's see, be match for the width. It should be match parent, height, layout height. It should be wrap content. Alright, what else? It looks like we've set the margin bottom, So let's go ahead and add that margin bottom, and we set that to, it was 8 density pixels, and we have text, which is sign in. Alright, so now that we have specified this style resource for this button, and it is right here, this is the style resource that will be used, we can delete the things we've already specified in this style. So we've already specified the width, the height, and the margin bottom, so we can delete those. We've also specified the text, so go ahead and delete that, and this should look the exact same, and it does. So as you can see here, it is now being styled with this instead of explicitly writing all of this out. And let's see, we'll add, let's do, add in this one, margin top. So the benefit of styling using style resources is that it makes your layout files much smaller. So you can see here, these have the same styling, and really we do not need to give this an ID because we're not manipulating it programmatically. So we can delete that ID. So here's the difference. What we can do in 2 lines takes 5 without styling, and that's the beauty of using the style resources. So let's keep going. Let's now you can see here on this button it doesn't have a margin bottom, but it has a margin top. So the way we can reconcile that is that so we'll do we'll set, see, margin top is 8 density pixels, and on this one the margin bottom is 8 density pixels. So what we can do is we'll set margin top and margin bottom on this style, and then apply that style to both of these. So we'll change it from, alright, we'll change, but we'll split the difference. So make this 4, and margin top, put the margin top on that, make that 4. Alright, and now we should be able to just apply this style to this, and it should look relatively close. Alright, so it looks like it's rendering correctly. You notice here, if I delete this sign up, now it says sign in, because we're specifying the text in here. So it's probably not a good idea to specify the text for this button, because it's only going to apply to this one button. So go ahead and delete that, go back to this one, and we'll put that text back in there, and put the text back in here as well. Alright, so we're styling these a lot better when we have the text, and they're both using the button style. I prefer not to, I don't know if there's a way to put these inside of the style, but I would prefer not to. I think it's more readable to have it on the layout file itself. Alright, so now let's do the same thing for image view, this image view here. So let's come up with a style for image view. Alright, so style, and we'll call this image view. But this is actually going to be our logo, our app logo. So we'll call it. That's what we'll call it, app logo. And yeah. And let's see. Width. And what was the width? Let's see. It's 50 density pixels. Alright, and then we'll do the same thing for the height. Make that 50 density pixels, and now we have to do, let's see, alright, the one we're styling this one. Alright, and then what's next? Layout gravity, and that is center horizontal. And then layout margin, and that is 16 density pixels. And then source, which is Android drawable system default icon. Alright, so we should be able to style this the same way, just using our style restores. So style, and it's app logo. There we go. Alright, let's keep going. So this is our linear layout. First thing we can do to clean it up is remove these namespaces and put them in the outermost layout tag. Alright. And we will have let's see, make a new style for this. What we'll call this, this is kind of like a container, like we have like an outermost view. So let's call this, I don't know, how about outermost view? We could call it that, I guess. Outermost, it's actually outermost view group, which is the outermost layout tag, but I don't know if I like that name. How about, we'll just call it linear layout for now. Linear layout. Yeah, we'll call it linear layout. Alright, item, and let's see, its width is match parent. Height is match parent. Orientation is vertical. Oops. Ooh, what did I do here? Oops. Alright, orientation is vertical. And let's see, padding. 16 density pixels. Alright. Now the tools context, I'm not going to put that in the style resource. So we have this style, we'll add it here, which is a linear layout. Now we should be able to delete these and it will look the same. And it does. Alright. So now we've cleaned up our let's see, our layout file quite a bit. Let's look. Alright, so here's a diff of what it looks like. So what we are doing in 29 lines of code now used to take us 40. So it saves us 11 lines of code, and this is much easier to code review than the left. So your coworkers will appreciate this very much. And we can take it a step further. So it looks like we're getting some kind of warnings. Hard-coded string sign-in should use string resource. Alright, go ahead and click the light bulb, extract string resource, and I like that. The resource name will be sign-in, add to the values in our strings, XML, okay. And we'll do the same thing here. Extract the string resource, sign up, okay. Alright. Now for Android, the reason that's important is because the string resources can be retrieved in constant time. They have a unique ID, and they can, they're retrieved very quickly. And they're also, when they're in resources, you can have multiple resources, string resources for different languages, which makes it easier to support multiple languages. And also leaving your strings in line, they cannot be translated on older, they really can't be translated at all. I shouldn't, it's a loose term now with the new Android O. They can be translated on the screen, but not with the resources. And alright, so what's next? So we're putting our strings in resources now. Our layout file is nice and clean. It's much smaller. Let's go ahead and reformat this code. Alright, now it's down to 28 lines, even better. So we saved 12 lines of code there. And well, you know what, let's see if we can do better. So these are both buttons, but what if we have you know, this would be a good base class, but let's make another class or another style specifically for those buttons on the UI. So let's make another style, and it will inherit from this button resource, and we'll call it sign. I'm not sure about the naming convention. Let's go with sign in. We'll do sign in. How about that? Alright, and the text will say sign in. Alright, and let's do the same thing for sign up. Where is text? There we go. And let's put in the sign up string. Alright, so now we have two resources, and both of these resources inherit from their parent resource, which is button, this one. So these will inherit all of these items will be inherited by both sign in, and button sign up. So we can change this to sign in, and this one sign up, and now we can delete these from our layout file. Oop, what did I do? There we go. Alright, sure I need this, so I'm going to delete it. And that means I don't need this namespace anymore. Alright, so let's go ahead and reformat the code. There we go, 23 lines. So what did it take us before? 40? Yeah. 40, what took 40 lines of code is now being done in 23. And this is much easier to code review than the other. So, yeah, your coworkers will be very happy. But we can keep going. Let's make these buttons a little nicer. So, all right, let's do a background for these buttons, and we will put that background in the drawable resource directory. So we're going to call this, how about button? What do we call this? Button. Yeah, there we go. Oh, button. So, alright. Let's add our item, an item tag, and then a shape. We'll have some corners. Alright, now the shape, let's add let's add the shape here. And it will be, let's see, our button is a what? It's a rectangle. Yeah. And our corners, their radius will be, how about, I don't know, let's make them 4 density pixels. Alright. And let's add a stroke to this. Alright. Alright. Let's see, width. We'll make it 1 density pixel. Actually 2. We'll make it 2. And the color will be what? What will we make this color? Primary. Color primary. And let's see. Actually, you know what? We'll do primary dark. And we'll fill it in with the primary color. Ah, gosh. Alright, so that's going to be our button background. Yeah, that's what it'll look like. Let's see. So let's see how that looks. We can add that drawable resource right into our style resource, and we'll do background, add drawable button. Now let's see what that looks like. Look at that. Shows up with our nice rounded corners. But the dark text doesn't look that good. So let's put, make the text white. Text color. Alright. That looks a little better. But the white background just isn't quite doing it for me. So, and you know, the thing is, we're going to have a white background on every single one, so maybe we should change that. Maybe we don't want a white background at all. We'll have all of our backgrounds be something else. Well, we're going to go into the app theme and override that. So, add an item here, and we'll do window background. Go down to the one with the Android namespace, and into Android. You can put whatever colors you like, but I'm going to go with how about a darker gray? Let's see what that looks like. Not bad, that's okay I guess. I'm not much of a graphic designer, but that's good enough for now. Put whatever colors you like, maybe. Yeah, or green. Let's do something crazy. How about dark green? Oh, that's too much. Alright, whatever, we're going with that, the green. That's our background. Yeah, and as you can see here, this is how your layout files should look. When you start seeing a bunch of views with attributes, it's usually a mess. It's also harder to debug and style and keep track of things. This is a much cleaner way, and also these styles become highly reusable. For example, there's going to be a lot of views where all you're going to do is set the width to match parent and the height to wrap content. So you could just make a style called match and wrap. And all this style will have layout width is match parent and height is wrap content. And you can reuse this style in many places. We could use it right here, actually. We could set the parent, we will. Parent is match wrap, and then we can delete these two items because we're already setting that right here. So you go in here and you'll see it looks the exact same. And this is just a really great way of going about making this. So we have another one here, match parent. Let's make a style for that one and reuse this. So style, we'll make it match. We'll call it match. Right, and item layout width is match parent. Height match parent, and we will set this parent to match, and now we can delete these. And these are specified with specific values, so we'll get to that next. As you can see though, this is a lot less code, much nicer to look at, much easier to read, and it just gives you the relevant information. Like, I just need to know how this button is styled. It's styled with the button sign in style. That's all I need to know. If I want to know more, I can just hold Control or Command and click on it, find out more. But let's get into this now. So we have this style, and as you can see here, we're reusing some values. Like here we go, margin bottom, margin top. We're reusing those values for density pixels. The app logo, 50 density pixels. Layout margin, 16 density pixels. Padding, 16 density pixels. So we can improve on this screen as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's keep our style file right there, close some of these tabs, and go to another. Actually, we have not made it yet. So what we'll do is right click. Let's see, can we put the cursor in there, Alt Enter. I'm not sure. Either way, let's right click our values package, and then click value resource file, enter a new name. We're going to call it dimens. Alright. And all that will be in here are dimensions. And these dimensions, so let's split this. Alright, so let's start at the top. The first one, here we go. For our button style, we have margin bottom of 4 density pixels. So we can say, we'll call this, we'll call it bottom. We'll just call it button margin. Right, call it button margin, and its value is 4 density pixels. So now, instead of having these in here, I will specify at dimen margin, button margin, and I will put that in here as well. And now I have these resources. So if I ever need to change it, I can change it in one spot instead of having to find everywhere where I'm setting the margin on these buttons with hard-coded values. I can just specify it with this resource and change it here if I ever need to. Alright, let's keep going. So the next one is app logo. So we'll call this, let's see, dimen name. This is app logo, let's see, width, and it is what, 50 density pixels. Alright, and let's see, app, we'll make, even though they're the same, let's make another one just in case, since they are different attributes. Height. Alright, and that will also be 50 density pixels. So let's add those here. Width, height. Alright, dimen. Alright, next one. So you see layout margin 16 density pixels. So let's see, we'll need that is we'll just say, I don't know, a general, we're going to use that a lot since 16 density pixels is material design margin. How much space should be between the edge of your phone and the outer and the next closest view should be 16 density pixels. We'll call this let's see, activity margin, and that is 16 density pixels. Alright, and now we've set that same value for padding, so let's have another one. Let's do activity padding, 16 density pixels. Alright, so we have these values here, which are being used, can be used here or in our layout files or anywhere really. And now there's no hard-coded values or dimensions. This is very nice, very reusable. Let's go back to our layout file, make sure that still looks like what we are expecting, and it does. It's still the same. Pretty much the same thing. Alright, Well, that's pretty much it for the advanced UI lesson. Making these layout files as small as possible is really beneficial. Makes these very reusable. Not just the styles, but the layouts as well become easier to reuse. And yeah, let's commit these. It looks like we did all that work in develop, but that's okay. Let's commit them. I know, I trust myself. Let's go into here. We'll commit these changes. So what did we do? We cleaned up the styling with resources. And yeah, that's pretty much all we did. Organize all of our styles into the style resources so they can be reused. Commit and push. Don't review, just commit. Push. I need to enter my master password. And there we go. That's all for cleaning up your styles. Just follow that pattern and everyone will be very happy with you.